Green Lantern number 0, written by Jeff Johns, art by Doug Mahnke. This is the origin story for Simon Baz. We open up in Dearborn, Michigan on 9/11. They're watching television, seeing everything go down, and Simon and his family are a Muslim family. So things are about to get very difficult for them. The next day, we see the Islamic Center in their town is graffitied up and just covered in hateful messages. 5 years later, we see them being bullied and harassed by people at their school. 10 years later, Simon's trying to board a plane and he gets pulled aside for some random security testing. And finally, cut to now, Simon has stolen a car. Simon is driving through the streets of his city in Michigan and he's being chased by a bunch of cops. And he has a van that he stole, and he's like, man, this better be worth something once I shake these cops. But then he hears a beeping from the back, and when he looks back there, in this van that he stole was a bomb, a very big bomb. So he calls up his sister Sierra, gets a voicemail, and basically tells him, like, hey, look, whatever it looks like on the news, it's not true. Yes, I stole a van, but I didn't know about the rest of it. Please tell mom and dad it's not what it looks like. And also, I'm really sorry about your husband. I truly am. And then as he's talking, he gets hit by a cop car that's trying to do like a pit maneuver on him. He manages to get to a factory that he pulls into the yard of. All the cops stay at the entrance, making sure that he can't get out. But he pulls basically as close to the factory as he can get, bails out of the car, and as the timer ticks to 0, it explodes, destroying this entire factory. He looks around him, he's already surrounded by cops, and he's under arrest. So 3 days later, he is in Guantanamo Bay. They don't directly say it, but it definitely is that. And 2 federal agents come in, and they're basically like, all right, here's the deal. So my name is Agent Fed. This is Agent Valdez. Agent Fed, they make sure to point out, is British. I don't know why. But regardless, they basically point out to him, like, okay, here's the deal. You are telling us that your story is that you stole a van, and that van, which was reported stolen 4 days before you stole it, had a bomb in it. So you're expecting us to believe that this van was stolen, a bomb was put in it, and then you stole the stolen van. And he's like, I know, that's crazy, but that's actually what happened. And they keep on laying out like all these facts against him, how the factory that he drove to was the factory that he worked at until he was laid off like a week ago. So they think this is some sort of like revenge against the factory. And he's like, no, I drove it there because I knew it was empty, because like the weekday it was, there was nobody who was going to be in the factory. Therefore, it would have been a safe place. I had no idea how big this bomb was when it went off. I was just trying to get it away from people. And they explained, like, yeah, you also, what was the thing they were saying? His brother, Nazir, his brother-in-law, Nazir, ended up dying because of something that he did. I'm not entirely sure that they say it's him, but regardless, yeah, he's not exactly happy that they bring that up. And he does have some Arabic tattoo on his arm, meaning courage. So, yeah, they're not exactly buying his case, but he just lays it out flat. He's like, look, you can keep asking me these same questions over and over again, but I'm telling you the truth. And whoever it is that was going to detonate this bomb is still there and needs to be taken care of. He is in my city. So they black bag him, take him into another room. They're basically saying, like, all right, let's torture him. Let's do it. We're in Guantanamo Bay. It's literally what we do. And Agent Fed is not wanting to cross that line. He doesn't want to torture. But basically his supervisor is saying, like, do it or you're, like, canned. If you can't do the job, then you're out. So he's like, all right, fine, whatever. So he comes in and he basically tells him, like, hey, look, just talk. Just tell us what we need to know. And this doesn't have to happen. And Simon, he's like, freaking out now. He knows what's about to happen, and he starts throwing punches, starts knocking down as many people as he can. And in the end, he finally has Agent Fed hold a gun to his head, and it's just like, don't move, don't make me do that. But before anything can happen, the roof crashes open, there's an explosion of energy, and a green power ring comes in, and it swoops around Simon, says, Simon Baz of Earth, you have the error ability to overcome great fear. And it slips itself on his finger. He's given the power of the Green Lantern, and he just immediately escapes out of the facility. So then Agent Fed places a call to Amanda Waller, who I guess is in charge of this sort of stuff, and they're like, should we call the Justice League that a suspected terrorist has a Green Lantern ring? And it's like, nah, they're having their own Green Lantern problems, because in Justice League, Green Lantern had quit his post by this point, so they don't actually know what happened to Hal after that, not knowing that in the previous issue here, he died. So this is kind of his ring. So everyone's just figuring out what's going on. We also see a little bit of the Third Army, which was set up in the annual issue. It's just creeping through the woods at this point. But finally we cut back to Simon. He's crash landed out in some woods, and apparently there's a message waiting in his ring. And for the one-page epilogue, we see just the swirling black nothingness, and inside are Sinestro and Hal Jordan, who are apparently still alive, but they have no idea where they are. So, hell of an intro for a character, I'll give you that much. I mean, it's got deep backstory, it's got this whole thing of he's overcoming great fear. I mean, it fits. It's a good, solid intro to a character. I'm interested to see what kind of character Simon becomes based off of his past and the sort of things going on. I believe Jon Stewart had like a similar sort of thing, because he was introduced just after Civil Rights era, I think. So yeah, it's an interesting take. I'm super looking forward to seeing what comes out of Simon's story. Overall, I would give this one I'll give it a 7.5. I do got to say some of Doug Mahnke's art makes it a little bit hard to follow of certain things. It's just a bit too heavy on the shadows in places, but overall, it's still a very good issue, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes.